here.
All right, go ahead, sir. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I haven't done a presentation as much. I apologize, I didn't realize I was going to be speaking as well, but that's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what I'll tell everyone a little bit about the situation we had in, or still have in South Africa, what we did. I think we were one of the first countries after Egypt maybe to be hit by COVID. It was early March. Initially we thought it's going to be very slow, but at the moment I think we are the country in Africa of the highest number of cases and the highest number of deaths. And personally, I don't feel that's a true reflection. I think there's not enough testing being done throughout Africa to have a true count of how many infections we actually do have. So I don't believe that South Africa is worse off than any other country in Africa, and people need to realize that. So we saw what was happening early on in Europe, obviously China first, and then we saw Italy and Spain and what was happening there, and we saw the hospitals being overcrowded and not prepared. And I think that's a big mistake many countries have made, was not being prepared enough for the infections, for COVID. And in South Africa, they took very early steps to engage a very hard lockdown. And since March, when did it start? 16 March, South Africa has been in a hard lockdown. The entire economy was closed. There was no movement allowed. We had military in our streets stopping any movement unless it was for essentials to go buy groceries and stuff like that. And for the past 6 to 8 weeks now, we've been closed. And about 2 or 3 weeks before the lockdown, we already realized there's going to be a problem. And we saw, like I said, in Italy and Spain, where they were deploying 3D printing to produce PPE, face shields, masks, and also medical devices like the ventilator parts, the splitters, and stuff like that. So what we decided was to early already get it out to our 3D printing communities and to get everyone, as many people as we could, involved. Anyone that had a 3D printer to start to print face visors and masks and stuff like that. And the only reason that we really saw that we had to do this was, and this is a common problem throughout Africa, we don't have local manufacturing. You know, we've got no company in South Africa producing N95 masks or any kind of mask. We've got no company or manufacturing shields. We've got nobody doing any ventilator parts or anything like that. And this comes from a problem of always being reliant on the rest of the world to import stuff. You know, we've always been reliant that China will supply, you know. And the moment the country shuts down, that supply chain is non-existent. You cannot import anything. And before we could see what was happening, we had no PPE in the country. And hospital staff were complaining. They're getting cases of COVID, and the frontline workers wouldn't work. They wouldn't go to work if the government could not supply them with PPE. And we realized, well, somebody needs to take action and supply them with PPE. Otherwise, we're going to have hospitals that can't operate, and the infection would just spread like wildfire. And in South Africa, we're lucky. We got a very big, strong 3D printing community. We've got 3D printers with home users, and I'm not sure how it is in the rest of Africa, but my estimates are that we've got 10,000, 15,000 personal 3D printers in the country at people's homes and so on. I know this because we've sold close to 5,000 printers ourselves. And we've got a lot of Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups where the community is very active. People are interacting with each other, and this is what we're printing, this is what we do. So it was quite easy to mobilize the people at home to start printing for us. So we set up some websites, we set up the download links with the open source designs, we made materials available, filaments available. Us as a company from AMS, we managed to donate a lot of filaments to maker spaces and the colleges, schools, TVEC, that all had little maker hubs, universities and so on. And before we knew it, the whole country was printing. That's you know, before COVID, the most printed items were little Groots, and we had fidget spinners and all that. Now everyone is printing face shields, and it's been quite amazing what we managed to achieve with that. But after we got everyone printing, we suddenly realized we're sitting with another problem, and that was logistics. And the logistics side is getting material to people that need to print. And then after they printed, how do we get those face shields back from the guys? How do we get them to a central point, and how do we get them distributed to the frontline workers, the hospitals, the security, grocery stores? How do we get them there? Because now the country is in lockdown and nobody can move around. And so we started getting the frontline workers themselves involved. We had the fire brigade, emergency services, we had the paramedics all involved, where they were actually going around in their first responder vehicles to everyone's houses one by one and picking up visors and masks from everyone that made them, and then take it to a central point or take it to a hospital and distribute them. So it's been quite amazing, but it was very difficult.